This Kia is more reliable than your Toyota. We're going to be going over the common problems and overall reliability of the Telluride. I'll include a link to the Doug Smith Kia's website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for AJ. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. When you think of powertrain reliability, you typically don't think of Hyundai/Kia, but this 3.8 liter V6 with the 8-speed has proven to be pretty darn reliable. People just don't really have issues with the engine for the most part. And on top of that, you have a 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. And so if you happen to be unlucky enough to have an issue with this powertrain, well, you're likely to be covered under warranty. And you can't say the same for Toyota's new turbo powertrains that are having issues with the transmissions and the engines. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now, the next issue is something that plagues every single modern automaker, and that is paint. Basically, you're having reports of just paint defects in general on these new Tellurides. But I can tell you, as someone who reviews cars and is constantly looking at new cars every single day, everyone needs to improve their paint quality. And honestly, this is surprising because if you look at modern paint technology, it is so much more durable compared to old paint jobs that cars used to have. So you think that things would be better, but it could also be a situation where the complexity of painting a modern car makes it so that there's more likely to be defects. Anyways, a big positive has actually been the build quality of the Telluride. Compared to a lot of other modern cars, these things are actually pretty well built. Like, just go and open up the doors with the Telluride, go open up the hood like I just did earlier, and just kind of knock around with things, and you'll notice that the fit and finish and overall build quality with the Telluride is actually quite impressive for a modern car. You can really tell that there's a huge emphasis on build quality with this new Telluride, and I think that that's because Hyundai's really trying to focus on that department to pull buyers away from automakers that they would traditionally buy from, like Toyota. But let's get into some more dirt. Some people have had issues with seat adjustments, but the overall wear and tear of the seats has done quite well. The next big issue has been glitches with the climate control system. Now, thankfully, this doesn't have that stupid split climate control thing. If you don't know, some of the Kia models will have a thing where you have to switch between climate and radio. This has separate radio and climate, but you still can get some glitches with this system, so it's something to be aware of. And I'm not sure if this is climate or seats, it's kind of both, but the heated cooled seat function, again, with the general seat trend, some people have had some glitches with that, but again, this has been pretty minor and sparse. And the next has just been general issues with the gauge cluster and also with the infotainment system. The camera doesn't want to focus on for some reason. But yeah, just system basically not turning on or not functioning properly. I haven't heard that with the gauge cluster, but this is all kind of one connected screen unit, so you could imagine that in certain cases the whole system could just glitch out and just not turn on, which would be pretty detrimental because then you wouldn't know how fast you're going or anything. And so I have seen this happen with quite a few modern cars with these gauge clusters. I haven't seen it happen with the Telluride, but where basically the system just doesn't turn on. Like, the car drives perfectly fine. Like, you can put it into gear, you can drive, the screen just won't turn on. And so it's one of those growing pains with us having this much tech in a vehicle. And since we're talking about electronics and tech, this has quite a bit, as you can see, and people are just having general electrical glitches with the car. And this one definitely is going to vary. It could be anything from, again, stuff just not operating properly to the battery dying because there's some sort of parasitic drain. And again, I'm seeing this on a bunch of these modern cars. I had an example of that with my Land Rover Defender that my wife and I tested out for a year, where something within that car was constantly draining the battery, and so the battery would randomly die, and then you jump the car and then the power steering wouldn't work, and then the battery would die again, and then you jump the car again and then the power steering, it was a whole situation. But yeah, you can have some parasitic drain from some of these electronics because they glitch out and don't properly shut off. My best advice on that is to just make sure that you have everything turned off when you leave the car. So, like, make sure your lights are left off or in auto mode, and then fully lock the car. So press the lock button not once but twice, just so that everything shuts off. And that's pretty much it. These have actually done really well for a modern car. They have a pretty high reliability rating, surprising from a Kia. But let's take it out and I'll give you guys practical advice in terms of packaging on the Telluride and kind of what to do to get the best possible ownership experience. Well, Kia Telluride. We're doing this take 2. My camera didn't work the first time. So, first things first. I wanted to show you guys the powertrain performance in this reliability video, because that is something that's quite impressive with this compared to Toyota, that is using a turbocharged 4-cylinder now. The turbo 4-cylinders, it's got good low-end torque, but you're still going to be kind of peaky with that powertrain. Whereas this is good old-fashioned smooth NA power. The V6 is incredibly smooth. And on top of that, the suspension's comfortable, and you got pretty thick insulation, so the sound deadening is really good too. I mean, this is a luxury car. It's got memory seats, it's got 2 sunroofs, it's got heated, cooled seats. It has a ton of features. I can't remember if this one has the massage seat though. I don't think so. Anyways, it's got a lot going for it. It's a very, very nice 3-row crossover. And the engine performance is fantastic. I mean, look how smooth that is. So it drives well, and it drives better than Toyota. The Honda Pilot, I think, drives just as well as this. The downside of the Pilot, we'll talk about in a little bit. So that person's coming around that corner fast. Jeez. It's okay though, it happens. Here's another little acceleration. Smooth, it's smooth. If you want the best possible experience with your Telluride, I don't think you should order this package. This package has like fancy headliner. It's got the camera rear view mirror, turn signal, I'm not turning here, but turn signal camera just to demonstrate to you guys. It has a lot of tech, and we just discussed that the issues with this car are associated with the tech, right? That's the major issues, the electronics, the tech. So the fewer electronics you get in your Telluride, the better your ownership experience, because something like a turn signal camera or a camera rear view mirror or a 360 camera is cool while it's working. If it no longer works, not as cool of a feature anymore, right? So package-wise, I think the Prestige, this is a Prestige. It's, if you really want the luxury, right, it's a nice car, it's reasonably priced for what it offers, it's probably not the way to go. The regular X Pro or the EX or the X line, I think that's kind of the sweet spot for the Telluride in terms of pricing, and then also features. It still gives you a lot of nice luxury features inside, but it's at a more affordable price point, and the significant thing is it has a lot less tech. So you have a lot less that's going to go wrong in that car, which means you're going to have to spend less time in the shop, because again, with this car, it's not the engine that's going to put you in the shop. It's, you know, screen malfunction or this malfunction or that malfunction. So if you don't have the feature, well, then it can't malfunction, right? It's as simple as that. Now, this also does come with auto stop start. You can turn it off. Auto stop start, right? They'll put a larger starter in a car with auto stop start, but still, the more an engine turns on and off, the more wear and tear it has. So if you're really worried about your powertrain, you can turn that function off. When you drive, just press the little button, boom, it's off. Takes 2 seconds. And, you know, you're not going to have the fuel savings, which are minimal, but you also won't have to be concerned over the potential engine reliability, engine wear and tear issues. So that's a Telluride. It's surprisingly reliable, and here's where we'll bring in the Honda Pilot again. The Honda Pilot is a nice vehicle. It has a V6 just like this, but Honda has a thing where they like to charge you an arm and a leg for everything, right? They're Honda, they got the big name. So Kia is offering more features for less money. That's just what it comes down to. They both have NA V6s, they both have good builds, they both have solid features for the most part, but this has just kind of a nicer setup. This feels more premium than the Honda, drives just as well as the Honda, if not better in certain ways. The engine performance is great too, but you get more features for less money. Like, you have to, Honda's very stingy with cooled seats, for example. This, you get cooled seats in a bunch of different packages, so you're just getting a more loaded up vehicle for less, and so the value proposition is good. And again, the build quality is not like perfect. Like, this stuff kind of got a little bit of wiggle, right? But who cares? I mean, it seems like it's pretty solid for the most part with most of the stuff. And so, let me know your thoughts on the Telluride reliability. I think it's surprising because it's a Kia, but the Kias that have issues are the ones with the, it's really the 4-cylinder turbos and the CVTs. That's kind of the biggest issue that you're gonna, cars are the biggest issues. This having a V6 and an 8-speed automatic, yeah, you're just not gonna see it.